Welcome to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. In each episode, we're going to bring you insightful interviews and discussions with top restoration industry leaders. We're also going to delve into their business, the strategies that made them successful, and most importantly, the valuable lessons they learned along the way. I'm your host, Clinton James. I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer at Water Restoration Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency dedicated to helping restoration companies nationwide secure more high-value water jobs. Now, this show, it aims to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the restoration industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. Today's episode's a game changer for every restoration business owner out there. Recently, my business partner, Kevin Wilkie, and I hosted an exclusive webinar packed with actionable insights to help you secure more high-value water jobs. And now we're bringing that straight to your headphones. In this episode, you'll learn why your PPC campaign may not be delivering. You'll also learn the secret to ranking higher on Google's Map Pack, and also how to plug the leaky holes in your online presence that could be costing you leads. We'll also dive into proven strategies to help you optimize your website, your Google business profile, and customer reviews to turn those clicks into calls. If you're ready to stop losing jobs to competitors and start building a lead-generating machine, then this episode is for you. So stick around because the insights you're about to hear could transform your business. Let's dive in. Today's webinar, we're going to talk about unlocking the full potential of your PPC campaign by fixing your online presence, right? What homeowners and business owners see when they look your business up on the internet. My name's Clinton James. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer over at Water Restoration Marketing. I am joined today by my business partner and our CEO, Kevin Wilkie. So Kevin, say hello to the people.
Hello.
All right, so today we're going to discuss how fixing your online presence, basically the leaks in your bucket, can dramatically improve not only your Google Ads or PPC campaign performance, but also your organic performance, which ultimately is going to drive some additional water jobs for your business there. So Kevin, tell us a little bit about how a client might be losing jobs online and they're not even aware of it.
Yeah, this is really interesting through a number of kind of points of reference in our agency where we specialize in helping restoration companies get more water jobs. We realize that if you don't have a rock solid online presence, all of your marketing is going to suffer. And we'll show you exactly why that is, what to do about it. But the fundamental thing is customers, before making a decision, research businesses before they pick up the phone and call. Not 100% of those people do it, but I imagine if you think about yourself, when you're looking to make a purchase decision online, how often did you check out their reviews to see what that looked like, to make sure other people say that this is a good company? So if you don't have that rock solid online presence, think of it as like a bucket. Your online presence is a bucket, and each hole you have in there is places that you're losing out on potential high value water jobs because when they do that quick research, they can't check off all the boxes. And if they could just come across one thing that is subpar, that would be enough for them to say, you know what? Well, there's other choices. Let me go with one of the other choices that looks better. So, what we're going to talk about today, and more importantly, what to do about it to fix these holes, is critical to maximizing not only your Google ad campaign success, if you're one of our phone and are running your campaign, but all marketing that you do will improve. So, across the board, if you go from having a subpar online presence to an excellent one, just you're going to be getting more and more water jobs across all your efforts that you're doing.
So before we get into this, I know you're probably thinking some of you guys are our existing clients. We got a great working relationship, and we're working with you guys to get more high value water jobs. But some of you guys might not be aware of who we are and why the hell you should even listen to us. So let me give you a little insight, a little bit about us here. So first of all, our agency, Water Restoration Marketing, we currently work with over 130 restoration companies across the country. Okay, our core objective is to get those businesses more high value emergency water jobs. We currently manage over $3 million a year in Google ad spend for our clients. So we've got a great deal of experience. We've been doing nothing but this for the last 8 years. Kevin, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for me, like first off, what's most important is I'm a great husband and father of a 2.5-year-old toddler. And then we have a second little girl on the way. My wife's 12 weeks pregnant right now. And I've been an online entrepreneur my entire adult life. Since I was in college in 1996 is when I started my first online business. And since then, I've started and grown 4 7-figure plus online businesses. With this current one being the fourth. And back over a decade ago, I founded the first association for local marketing agencies. It's called LIMA, or Local Internet Marketing Association, to bring high quality training and standards to our industry.
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Clinton. My role is the Chief Marketing Officer over at Water Restoration Marketing. I've been in emergency services marketing for the better part of the last 15 years. And for the last 8 years, I've worked exclusively with water restoration companies across the country. I am also the host of the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. I know some of you guys listen to my content. Those of you who don't, if you're so inclined to, you can check us out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It's the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. Also, before we go down this rabbit hole, I really want to give you guys an opportunity. You're going to hear some great actionable takeaways today. But everybody's situation is different. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're interested, you can book a strategy session with me one on one, whether you're an existing client or somebody that's considering doing work with us. We're going to do a couple things. The first thing, we're going to get a free audit of your online presence. So we're going to go through your specific website, your specific Google business profile, and do an audit of what we think. What are the areas that we can improve and help you to improve your online presence? Also, we're going to be identifying the specific holes that ultimately could be costing you those high value water jobs that you guys are looking for. I promise after this call, you will have at least a handful of takeaways, things that you can do starting that day on your own to improve your online presence and drive more water jobs. And then finally, if you're interested, you can find out how our agency can really help you take your online presence and the number of jobs that you're getting online to that next level there. So you can use either the QR code that you see on your screen right now. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to scan that. Or you can also visit our website, go to waterrestorationmarketing.net/schedule. So we'll come back to this in a little bit, but I want to make sure any of you that are interested have an opportunity to put some time on my calendar before the end of the year, first week of January, whatever is convenient for your schedule. You can use that link and book some time now. There. So, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about the insights that we've been able to glean from doing this with restoration companies for the last 8 years in terms of how your typical homeowner or business owner actually chooses a restoration company when they're online?
Yeah. So the first is just looking at the different places that they could choose a company. So if they do when they do a search for water restoration company near me or whatever it is, there's going to be 4 different sections on the Google results. So the first one that shows up for some locations and some keywords, not all of it, it's limited where it shows up, is local service ads or called Google Guaranteed. So this might be like 5 to 10% of the end customers choose a business that they find in this section. So this is the smallest of all the options. Then right below that would be the Google ads, where they have 3 to 4 ads of restoration companies. And 15 to 20% of customers will choose a business that they find in the ad section. Then below that is the most biggest impact section, which is the map, where there that three pack of businesses that show up in the map. And around 55 to 65% of customers choose a business that they find in this map section. And then the last is below the map is all those organic results. A lot of times you'll see Yelp or Angie's List or these large online aggregators show up below there. And only 15 to 20% of customers choose a business out of that section.
So go ahead, Kevin. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
Like the one key insight of like where customers choose, if you're only doing ads, you're missing out on 70 to 85% of the potential customers that are choosing businesses online. So there's a huge opportunity to expand below outside of just your ad campaign.
So let's talk about that for a second, Kevin, because for the first, 5 to 6 years that our agency was in business, we were strictly a Google Ads agency. We focused singularly on running Google AdWord campaigns specifically for water restoration companies. We are not generalists. We don't work with dentists or plumbers or landscapers or restaurants down the street. This is our bag. This is what we've been doing consistently for our clients there. However, if you're just running ads for your restoration company, you're really missing out on a lot of great opportunities because, as Kevin mentioned before, the majority of customers who choose a home service business are actually going towards the map pack, right? So if we're only running ads at the top of at the top of the page, we're only getting maybe 15 to 20% of the available opportunities from somebody that's looking for a restoration company in that service area there. Um, Ad traffic is also just an amplifier of your brand, right? So we can run ads. A company can find your business through that ad, but in a lot of these cases, the ad is just the starting place, right? The ad also needs a strong online presence because consumers are becoming a lot smarter, right? They're not just going to that landing page, seeing the business, and necessarily pulling the trigger and calling the number that we have on that landing page. We really do rely on a strong online presence for our clients to make sure, even if our ads are what introduced that homeowner or that business owner to your restoration company, we still want to have a good online presence that makes you guys look great when that homeowner takes that extra step and does their due diligence there. So, Kevin, can you walk everybody through kind of what that decision-making process looks like for a homeowner or a business owner that finds themselves in the middle of a water damage emergency?
Yeah, absolutely. So that consumer does a quick Google search. And if there's somebody that decides to choose a company in the ad section, they're going to click on that ad. They're going to visit that company's landing page where they send that traffic. And this was one of the key insights that we had is when we have a like a high-end tool that records the visitor session of every visitor that goes to our campaign landing pages. And we see exactly how long they're on that page, how far they scroll, where their cursor is. And we would frequently see this result where somebody is on the page for several minutes, which is a great sign. That's somebody that's engaged, that's reading, checking it out. And then they would get to a point and then they would just stop and stay at that point for a long time. And what that person doing is step number 3, because we all think like they visit a landing page and they either call or don't call. There's also this third option, which is they're going to do some quick research of this business before deciding to call. So they're going to Google that business name and look at their reviews, their Google business profile, website, one or more of those things they're going to do. And if all of those things look great, like this is an excellent company and checks all the boxes, then they're going to pick up the phone and make a call based on what they see. So the uh the, the key part of this is this step number 3. Like we can have the best dialed in ad campaign, but if somebody goes off of that landing page to do some research, which some consumers do, and it doesn't look stellar, then you're going to lose out on that customer.
Yeah, so let's talk about your metaphor there when it comes to the bucket, right? Because folks think, oh, I've got a website, I've claimed my Google business profile, I've got an online presence. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a good one, and there's no holes in your bucket there. So let's talk about the different types of holes that someone can have in their online presence that's ultimately costing them jobs right now. So the first is your website, right? When somebody Googles your business, the very first link that should show up at the top of the page is going to be your website. And if that website is outdated, has bad graphics, looks like it was built in like the early 2000s using some tool like Microsoft Front Page or something like that, it's not a good reflection of your business because there's plenty of your competitors that have new updated business or updated websites that look great to potential homeowners and business owners that have emergency water damage. The second
Let me
thing
just
is
comment on that, Clinton. Even if it was done, let's say, like 5 years ago, the standards and quality of website design has gone up significantly over the past just 3 to 5 years. So a site that looked good 5 years ago is not going to look good in today's marketplace with people that have newer, modern looking sites.
That's a great point, Kevin, because we do refreshes on our clients' websites traditionally every 2 years because we understand that the quality of the website, the tools that are available, what homeowners like what consumers expect when they visit a website is gonna be really different, 12, 24 months down the road there. So that's a really good point. The other thing is every business out there has an opportunity, especially in the home service space, to go out there and claim a Google Business profile. If you are in this on this Zoom meeting today and you have not already claimed your Google Business profile for your business, you're really behind the eight ball. So we'll definitely help you with that as an agency there. Also, a Google Business profile has fields that need to be filled out in terms of the business name, location, service area, services provided. All of that information needs to be updated, complete, and optimized to make sure that that Google Business profile is a great reflection of you and your business. Now, another thing that's kind of people don't pay attention enough to it is the speed in which your website loads and is it mobile friendly, right? Because we know anywhere from 60 to 75% of the people that are looking for a home service business. I'm talking about those people that came home from work or came home from a weekend away and they're standing in 2 inches of water. They're not going back to sit in front of their laptop or their desktop computer. They're using a mobile device, whether it's a cell phone or a tablet. So you want to make sure that that website not only loads quickly, but it's also optimized for a mobile device there. So that's super important to make sure that you're presenting to that potential homeowner in the most positive light possible. So, finally, reviews. So, your online reputation really can make or break the success of your business. Poor reviews are not good for business, but the worst thing is to have bad reviews and not reply to those reviews. Google looks at your online reputation when they're determining whether they're going to rank you in that map pack or not. So you want to make sure that you have reviews, you're getting those consistently, you have a good average star rating, and you're also taking the time to reply to each one of the reviews. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, it doesn't make a difference. You need to put thoughtfulness into replying to each one of those reviews as they come in. And I know a lot of you guys on here. I've seen some of your Google business profiles. Occasionally, you'll have just a really difficult homeowner that you worked with, and they're going to say something nasty. One bad review does not kill your online reputation. However, if you don't respond to that review, it's kind of like an open sore online. Because if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at a company to potentially do some home service work for me, if I see a bad review, it's not the end of the world, but I'd like to see how that business responds. Because if one out of every 10 reviews isn't 5 star, it's not the end of the world, but I do want to make sure that that business is addressing whatever that homeowner's concerns were there. So, really thoughtful responses to those reviews are very, very important there. So,
One quick comment on that. As we all know, a lot of these negative reviews, what they say is actually not true. They're pissed off and are gonna like spout as and try and bring you down as much as possible because they're unhappy for whatever reason that they're unhappy. However, from a consumer standpoint, they 100% believe what's in that negative review is true unless you send a well thought out, respectful response counterbalancing what they're saying with what actually happened. And that actually, what we found is can build more trust if you do that than having no negative reviews, especially if you're replying to every review, the good ones and the bad ones, because it shows that this is a business that's highly engaged, cares about their customers, and really goes out of the way to take care of them.
So, Kevin, walk us through a real life example of what a poor online presence looks like through these screenshots here.
Yeah. So first, over here on the left, you can see only has 3 reviews and an average or 2 reviews. So that first is a red flag that only 2 people reviewed this, and then the average of 3.0. So they have a poor average on top of not many reviews.
Mhm.
What you would also see is that 1-star review, there was no reply. They said this business was a scam, they ripped me off, blah, 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 blah. So that both of those is like 2 double negatives. And then because they didn't claim and optimize their profile, it has outdated information. So the phone number didn't even go to their business anymore because their phone number changed. And then if they went to their website, it looked like this one here on the right. That definitely does not look like a modern day uh, trustworthy website that you'd want to call.
Yeah, it looks like every single one of these issues can ultimately end, no matter where they are, that customer is in the journey of making a decision whether to pick up the phone and actually call you. Each one of these has the ability to really cost a restoration company an opportunity to work with that homeowner there. So um, rather than just go through screenshots, let's actually take a real world look at some examples of what a good online presence looks like versus a bad online presence here. So let's jump over here. Let's actually start with one of our clients. Awesome company out of Colorado, A1 Water Damage Restorations. We worked with them for a while here. This is what one of our landing pages looks like, right? So we have spent um, tens of thousands of dollars in terms of tools and research to make sure that we create a landing page that's going to be a great reflection of you, your business, the services that you provide, and lead that homeowner to the decision that you are a trustworthy company that they want to work with, right? So when they get to the landing page, they're going to see your company name, your company logo, and we utilize some dynamic insertion technologies that make you look hyper local and make the content on the page very relevant to the keywords and search terms that they might have searched under there. So we're doing a lot of extra things. You'll notice that the primary call to action on our landing pages is always a phone number, local area code. Now, in the case of our clients, it's going to be a tracking number because we are obsessed with data. We're tracking everything there. We don't invest a lot in terms of chat bots or forms on these landing pages because in my thought process is if someone's got time to fill out a form and wait for you to call them back, they're probably not in the middle of a water damage emergency. And that's really not the kind of lead that we're trying to generate through our ad campaigns. What we're trying to get you is a phone call from a live human being that's in the middle of a water damage emergency. So we've got our call to action, we've got our company name and logo, we talk about the area that they're servicing. We've got some great insights on how they can help that homeowner or business owner through the restoration process. We drop a couple of logos for the major insurance companies because we just want to let that homeowner know that we've got that restoration company has experience working with with homeowners through the insurance claim process. A lot of great calls to action on here. We even have a couple of 5-star reviews that we pulled off of that homeowner's Google business profile. But as Kevin mentioned, there are going to be some people that land on this landing page and they're going to see everything that they need to make a comfortable decision to pick up the phone and call this restoration company. There's also going to be a subset of homeowners or business owners that are going to see all this information. They're a little bit more savvy. They got to remember that home is probably the biggest asset that they own. So they're going to do a little more due diligence. So what do? They look at this business name and they do a quick Google search. right? So if you do a quick Google search for A1 water damage restorations, this is what you're going to see. First thing is their website. It's at the very top of the page. And if you look to the right, you see their Google business profile. It's claimed, it states the services that they offer. It's got contact information on there. It talks about it being open 24 hours. And if you even dig a little deeper, not only do you see that they've got 90 five-star reviews, so just a stellar online reputation, but if you even want to go a step further and actually read some of those reviews, you'll see that this company has taken the time to respond to each one of these reviews with some very thoughtful insight. There's one here in particular where the person mentions specific team members in the review. And when that person writes a response, they say, "Thank you for the kind words. We're delighted that Cole and Tony's professionalism and friendly approach made such a great impression. Your recommendation means the world to us." So, this restoration company is taking the extra step, or using a company like ours to take the extra step to reply to these reviews with some great insights there. Okay. So this is what a good online presence looks like. Let's also go back to their website, right? Because we just recently did a website for them. It's optimized, super mobile friendly, looks like it was made recently. It's great. It's going to perform well. You'll notice they have service pages for each of the primary restoration services that they offer. And we also have location pages that we've started building for all the major cities that are in that are in their service area there. These are all things that Google looks at to really raise the authority of that website. We've got a blog that has tons of content, and I know what you guys are thinking. Homeowners, business owners that have water damage are not going to go read a 2,000 page or a 2,000 word blog on somebody's website. 100% agree. But you know who does read that? Google. And it's that kind of content that improves the authority of the domain and that website. And you got to remember that website's attached to the Google business profile. So the fact that Google thinks highly of this website and its content based on a search relating to water restoration, it's going to improve the overall ranking of that business's Google business profile as well. So now let's take a look at the flip side. I'm not going to call out anybody on the call. I'm actually going to show you an example of a company that's fairly local up here in Northern California, a company called Purdy's Water Damage. Okay. So when we do a search for Purdy's Water Damage, their website does come up and their Google business profile comes up. Kevin, what's the first thing that jumps out to you about their Google business profile?
It's only 3 reviews and even worse, a 3.7 rating.
S so how would you feel if you were looking for not just restoration, but any home service business, you want to do a little bit more due diligence, and this is what you see about that company?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do anything after that, and I would just go back, and to my search results and go to a different company.
And if we dig in deeper, we'll actually see they've got 3 reviews total. 2 of them are 5-star. Now, they're over a year ago, but they haven't even responded to any of the reviews on there. So that is not building credibility, with homeowners and business owners in terms of this restoration company. Now let's take a look at their website. Kevin, tell me what you think about Purdy's water damage website.
I mean, way back in the day, I used Microsoft Front Page. I was real old school, and like this is something that you would build on, something like that. That you would either you did it yourself, or you have a nephew that said they could build you a website. Like this is not a modern day site that leaves you feeling a high level of trust. And they're a great company. We don't know. However, their online presence points to it not being a great company. So if they are a great company, this is really impacting and hurting their ability to get more business.
It's insane to me that they mention on their website that they've served just over 5,000 clients, but if we go and look at their online reputation, we have a total of 3 reviews and an average star rating of 3.7. So this tells me one of 2 things. This number isn't accurate, or this business doesn't have a plan in place so that every time they complete a job with somebody, especially for restoration services, they're not proactively reaching back out to that customer to encourage them to write a review on their Google business profile. And we know how valuable those reviews are. So that's something that they need to be doing every single time. We've actually put systems in place with our clients to make sure that through marketing automation software, we are proactively reaching out to every client that they do work for and inviting those folks to go online and write a great Google business profile review.
in a kind of, we'll talk more about this later, but look, we don't, Purdy is not one of our clients, so we don't know how their business operates. Maybe they say, well, all of our business comes through these referral sources. We have a great network of plumbers and property owners and or managers that refer us business. And we don't do online marketing. So we don't need to worry about our online presence. But those people are also going to do a quick Google search of your business name before deciding to pick up the phone and call you. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a lot of online marketing or a little. What we're talking about now is going to improve every type of source of new business that you get.
Yep, 100% agree here. So let's get back to this. Um, let's talk a little bit about how that negative or online presence is impacting a client's PPC campaign, right? Because we can only track through our landing pages and tracking numbers the folks that find that business and elect to call after getting to that landing page, right? So that only represents a very small portion of the overall people that might find the restoration company as a result of the pay-per-click ads, because we know people are, again, smarter consumers. They're taking the extra step after they get to the landing page of doing a Google search for that restoration company and seeing what comes up. And then what happens after they do the Google search, Kevin? It's not like they're even if they see something positive in terms of the Google business profile or the website, they're not necessarily hitting the back button and going back to our landing page and calling the tracking number, right? So all those opportunities, what happens to those? They're still going to the restoration company, right? They're just not going through our tracking system there. So
And this was another big data point that we had to realize how important what we're talking about is we would occasionally have a client that decides that they would just want to stop doing Google ads because they think the ROI isn't high enough for them. And invariably, frequently, those people come back to us 3, 6 months later because they expected whatever jobs on average they're getting from their ad campaign would go away, but they'd also wouldn't have that ad spend. What they were not expecting but did experience is all those jobs that came from people leaving the landing page to do some research and then call that Google business number or the website number, those also disappeared because they found you in the ads, but it looks like it's coming from these other places. So it, yeah, well, as you'll get in, like this can have a pretty big impact. Um,
100%. We would venture to guess through all of the technology that Kevin has talked about that we've invested in terms of tracking, whether it's tracking the keywords that somebody used when they did their Google search, tracking what happens when somebody actually gets to our landing page. We could see anywhere from 50 to 250% more opportunities that we're just not able to track because they're not pulling the trigger and calling the number on the landing page. They're doing some additional research before they actually make a call to that restoration company. So you got to remember ads will bring traffic and bring attention to your business. And there will always be a subset of people that see enough information on that landing page to be comfortable to make a call to you to get you out there to do some restoration work. But there are also people out there that are going to do the extra step, do the due diligence, and their journey really doesn't end with that landing page. There's going to be some additional steps that they take in terms of looking at your website and looking at your Google business profile there. So, Kevin, you mentioned earlier that online presence not only can impact the ads and the other online marketing that you're doing, but it also can impact the other more like boots on the ground, networking and things that restoration companies are doing trying to get referrals. Can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah, I mean, if you're getting jobs from plumbers, property managers, even if coming from insurance companies, like all of those kind of referral sources, those people are also going to want to know if you're a high quality, legitimate business that they feel is going to do a good job with the most valuable asset they have, which is their home. So this is something that's going to impact all sources of marketing and lead generation you do. Also, if your online presence is not good, you're definitely, absolutely not going to show up in that valuable map 3 pack where more than half the customers come from. And Uh, if somebody's considering doing business from you again, your online reputation matters to those people as well.
Yeah, I guess the big takeaway here is that not only does your online marketing suffer when you don't have a great online presence, but everything that you're doing in the community to try to get additional work, whether it's referral partners, even getting homeowners and business owners to send friends and family your way the next time they have some kind of water damage emergency, that can all be impacted significantly by a poor online presence there. Now. We have focused on running ads. We now do websites and local SEO. And when I say local SEO, I'm talking about trying to get our clients' Google business profile into the map pack. That's a top 3 ranking in that area. Now, the reason that's important is, again, 55 to 65% of homeowners, business owners that are looking for a home service business, they don't necessarily click on the ads, they go to that map pack. So if we're able to get one of our clients a top 3 listing in their service area, that's a game changer for the business because they're not only not paying per click or paying per call, but they're getting very high intent people to actually go and contact their business there. So visibility in that map pack, there's a bunch of factors that Google uses to determine where you're going to rank in that map pack, right? One is proximity. How close is your business to the homeowner or the business owner that's doing that Google search? Then they're going to look at your online reputation. And it's not just the quantity of reviews that you have, it's also what the average star rating is and the frequency in which you're getting those reviews, right? You can't get 100 today and then skip the rest of the year and not get any additional reviews. You need to put a system in place so that every person that you work with that's had a great experience is encouraged to go onto your Google business profile and leave a review there. Okay. Also, you really have to treat your Google business profile almost like a social media page. There's an option for posts, there's an option for pictures, there's a Q&A section. And again, as we've tried to hammer home, it's super important for you guys to respond to reviews. And we've got some tools in place that we use with our clients to make sure that they are not only getting reviews, but they're also responding with the right context there. So
One other quick thing with that is if you are both showing up in the ad section and then you also show up in the Google Maps section, they really have a synergistic effect because they're going to see your business name twice, which means that it you ha- uh, you look more appealing because you're showing up in multiple places on that first page.
real estate, real estate, real estate. The more real estate that you can own on the page one of a Google search, the better the opportunity you're gonna have to actually work with that or to get a call from that person that's doing the search there. So, Kevin, what can people do right now? Like, what can they do right now to help start plugging some of those leaks in their bucket?
Well, the first thing is if you haven't claimed your Google business profile, then you absolutely need to go claim that and then optimize it. Fill out all the data points. It's going to ask you for all sorts of questions. And the more of those that you answer, the more relevant that you're going to look in Google's eyes and also for the consumer. Second is make sure you have a modern looking, meaning like 2024, 2025 looking website that loads fast. Because if it doesn't load quickly, that is a big drop off point where people will quickly hit the back button if it takes more than a couple seconds for that page to load up. And it's fully mobile optimized because the majority of people are doing searches on their phone and going to your mobile site. And then last thing is your reviews. First, make sure you have a process in place that's consistently getting you reviews from your happy clients that are going to gladly go leave you a 5-star review. And for each one that comes in a timely manner, send a thoughtful reply to each one of those because that shows to people that are checking you out that this is a company that pays attention and cares about their customers and is trustworthy.
Yeah. Kevin, one of the things, and we've learned this just from working with homeowners or working with restoration companies, trying to get the homeowners to write reviews or trying to get the business owner to respond to the reviews. Sometimes people just don't know what to write, right? So one of the things that we've utilized. Can you talk a little bit about the AI technology that we're using right now to not only make it easier for the homeowner to write a review, but also easier for the business owner to respond to that review?
Yeah. So it's a really powerful tool that we give to every one of our clients that instead of um, well, it sends that customer a text message after the job's been done, and you would only have it sent to the ones that had a great experience. If there's a challenging customer, then you just wouldn't send it to that person, and then it sends them that text, and they can reply right there. Click the link in the text, opens up your uh, business profile to leave a 5-star review. And if they don't know what to say, it gives them some AI prompts that will help them write a review by just entering a couple little pieces of information, and they'll give them a suggested review that they can post based on the data points they gave. And then you get a notification like somebody left a review, and you can do the same thing on your phone. Click on that, and the AI bot will give you a recommended reply to that post, and you just post it. So you don't even have to spend any time thinking of what am I going to say. You can use our AI powered review bot to do a lot of the work for you.
Man, I talk to restoration company owners like every day, and they're just always interested in how they can utilize AI in their business. And it's great that we found a way to utilize AI technology to once again make it easier for that homeowner or that business owner to craft something nice to say about your restoration business, and also make it very easy for that restoration company owner to respond to said review in the appropriate fashion there. So I really like that tool. It's a great tool. We got a lot of great clients that are taking advantage of that. Real quick, before we jump to the next slide, we do have a Q&A. We do have a Q&A section. I appreciate you guys dropping some in there. I just wanted to respond to one of them. Micah, you asked, how do you get clients to leave reviews? That's a great question. We work with tons of restoration companies that have tried everything, right? They've even tried incentivizing their technicians. They've tried incentivizing the homeowners to leave the reviews. They've tried marketing automation software where they berate that homeowner with a series of emails trying to encourage them to write reviews. But going into your next question, what we've found is text messages and SMS is the most effective for two reasons. One, people look at their cell phone and their text messages a lot more than they're checking their email nowadays, especially during the holiday season. If you can imagine all the spam that they're getting. The second is when they get it on their cell phone, most folks are already logged into Google on that device. So when they do click the link to leave the review on the Google Business Profile, there's no additional step for them in terms of logging in or selecting an account there. So we definitely have found that SMS messaging is the best way to reach out to homeowners about leaving you a review. And again, because it's an SMS and a text message there, it's just that much easier for the homeowner to actually follow through. So I hope that answers that question there. Um, all right, so we've talked a lot about different things that you can do to fix your online presence here. So when you walk away today, I hope you've got a couple of really actionable items, things that you can do starting today to improve your online presence. I also encourage you, you got two options here. One is you can do a self audit. We can provide you with a step by step guide on what you should be looking at to make sure that you don't have any holes in your bucket and you have a great online presence that's complementing not only your internet marketing, but the stuff that you're doing in the community. Second option we're going to give you is you can partner with us to let us handle everything. And I think it's important for you guys to be able to reach out to us and just have an initial conversation, right? To look at your current online presence and determine whether you do or don't need any help there. So again, we're giving you guys an opportunity. You can scan the QR code that you see on the page here, or you can use the link below, waterrestorationmarketing.net/schedule, to schedule a one-on-one strategy session with myself where we'll go through these activities. We'll look at your online presence and figure out if there's an opportunity for you to plug those holes or if we to be a good partner to work with you in terms of plugging those holes. So Kevin, let's go back into the chat here. We got a couple more questions. One question here: with local service ads, how can the ads show more? When we first got on LSA, we received quite a few calls. We answer each and every call, and we provide data to Google. We have not shown up much as of late, and cannot figure out how to reserve this or reverse this. All verifications are done and updated in LSA site. Any recommendations there? Um, Kevin, if you've got some thoughts, you can share them, but I've got quite a few thoughts on this subject because I talk to clients every day about Google Guarantee and the volume of calls that they're getting through LSAs versus what it was 6 months ago, 12 months ago.
Yeah, go ahead. And if I have anything, I'll just add in.
All right. So one thing is you have to understand, every week, Google's convincing other restoration companies to sign up for local service ads. The more companies that show up, the less frequently you are going to show up. Google also has an algorithm that they use to rank all of the people that are participating in local service ads. It takes a bunch of things into consideration. And one of the things it takes into consideration is your online presence, right? So if you don't have a fully built out Google business profile, because that's where local service ads is looking to see what your online reputation looks like. If you don't have a bunch of 5-star reviews, you don't have a great average star rating, and you're not consistently getting reviews, that is going to impact on if and where you show up and when you show up when in the Google guarantee spot there. So if you don't see yourself as frequently as you did 6 months ago, you really need to step up your intent in terms of getting more 5-star reviews. There's also some things that you could do through the login tool in terms of making sure that you're either archiving or marking as booked each opportunity really quickly. Google looks at that as kind of like your plate. And if you're not dispositioning those calls quickly, they think you have too much on your plate and they might move you to the back of the line. I also would encourage you to just increase what your weekly budget is on there. I mean, you could literally set it at $10,000. You're never going to get to that point in most in most markets there, but maybe look at potentially increasing the budget as well. So, let's see. We got some other questions here, Kevin. Let me throw this one to you. Um, does your website impact your Google Business Profile ranking? Kevin, you want to give that one a shot?
Yeah. In today's world of Google and ranking in the map pack, Google really pays attention to both what you do on your Google business profile, but also just as much as what you're doing with your website because they want to get a comprehensive view. Is this an authority in this location for this type of service? So having a great fast loading mobile optimized website that you're posting that regular content. So like Clinton said, the the content that's posted on your blog isn't necessarily for the end user. It's to show Google that this article about this very specific kind of search term is something that we're an expert on. And Google sees like, oh, when if somebody's looking for this type of service based on your authority that you built up on your website uh, and everything else looking good, you should show up before anybody else. So the website is crucial for your ability to rank in that Google Map 3 pack.
If you've got an outdated website, you're not consistently generating content, blogs, backlinks, a whole SEO strategy, that really is going to limit how high you're able to get yourself into that map pack for sure, especially in those competitive markets out there. I'm talking top 100, top 150 markets in the country there. Got another question here. If I work out of my home, can I still optimize my Google business profile? I'll take that one. The answer is yes. There's a lot of restoration companies that start out as working out of their home. You can set up a Google business profile using your home address and still not have that displayed on your profile because, again, if you're any kind of business, even if you work out of your home, you don't want your address necessarily all over the internet there. People are crazy, might show up at your house. But yes, you can follow the exact same strategies that we're using to optimize your Google business profile, just understanding that proximity is one of the things that Google takes into consideration when they're determining where you're going to rank. So if you're in a super competitive market there, it may ultimately impact whether or not we can get you into that map pack, right? A top 3 listing. But we have had success working with home service businesses, getting them into that map pack, even if they're working out of their home and not displaying that. They just become a service area business and when it comes to GDP there. So um, another question here. This one for you, Kevin. I'm just starting out. So when should I start paying attention to my online presence?
Now's the best time to start uh, because you're going to build up a solid online presence from day one. Waiting until your business gets bigger before you worry about this means you're going to lose out on jobs and revenue along the way. And it's going to be a harder, longer hill to climb once you start paying attention and putting effort into this. So they say the best time to get started working out was 10 years ago, and the second best time is today.
I 100% agree with you. And if you are a new business just getting started, please book some time on my calendar. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Even if we don't start working with you today, we can help kind of outline a game plan, a blueprint that will put you in position to have some success through online marketing sooner rather than later there. Last question we have on here, Kevin. I think we got time for one more. I've had a really bad experience with PPC. What makes you different? I'll actually take this one because I talk to people all the time. As many of you know, if you're interested in doing business with water restoration marketing, you have to have a conversation with me first, right? And you'd be surprised how many restoration companies I talk to on a weekly basis that have used this, that, and the other agency on pay per click and complain that they got a horrible return on investment or zero results. And that can definitely happen. Running Google Ads is not rocket science. Any digital marketing agency, any person for that matter, could sit down and watch 4 hours of YouTube videos and figure out how to set up an account, right? Google makes it really easy for you to spend money with them. The thing you always have to remember, and I tell this to all of our clients, Google is not in the business of getting you jobs. Google, when it comes to pay per click, they're in the business of selling you clicks. Okay. So the reason and kind of what makes us different is we've been a really data driven agency from day one. We use tracking numbers and tools that allow us to track everything from the keywords that person typed into Google. We record every call that we generate. Our team reviews those calls. And the most important data point is we actually take the extra step of following up with our clients to see which of the calls actually turn into jobs. And it's 8 years worth of that data that allow us to make really good decisions on what keywords and search terms that we actually spend our clients' money on. We also have probably the most robust list of negative keywords for anybody that's doing pay per click for water restoration companies. And I go back to what I said earlier. We're not a generalist agency, right? We're not working with every company that's willing to spend money with us. We have worked specifically with water restoration companies for the better part of the last 8 years. So we've got the experience, we've got the data, and we've got the systems in place to give you the best opportunity to have success with pay per click there. So thank you for that question. Kevin, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I see that there's another question about reviews. Is like, uh, try and ask customers for reviews. I'm not getting them. Like, how do I get better at getting reviews? So I'll give you a couple different tips and strategies. First, and most importantly, what you should be doing is having each of your technicians have a simple QR code that they share with the homeowner when they are wrapping up the service, because that's when the homeowner is going to be the happiest. They just had a great experience. It's top of mind, and you can ask them, and it's harder for them to say no in that moment to just pull out their phone, scan that QR code, and it opens it up. So that's strategy number one. A way to enhance that is you can gamify it and incentivize your technicians to get reviews. You can say each month, the technician that gets the most reviews is going to get a $50 bonus, $100 bonus, like whatever you want to do. But let's say that that turned into 10 reviews that you got that month that you normally wouldn't. And you paid out a $50 bonus. That's $5 per 5-star review. That's like insanely valuable that you got. And a quick tangent, what you definitely don't want to do is buy reviews.
No, do not
Might
buy
have
reviews.
might have worked in the past, but Google has is very savvy, and if they catch you um, paying for people to just post fake reviews, your Google Business profile will get banned. So not only uh, like the whole thing will go away, and that is devastating to your business that you have no Google Business profile because you're banned by Google. So that's strategy number one is really get your techs to get that homeowner to give a review right away. Second strategy we talked about earlier is sending that text message as soon after the job's done, because again, that's when homeowners are going to be most interested. If you send it a week later, they've already kind of forgot about everything that you did, and it's like not a priority for them at all. But if you do it shortly after the job gets done, send that text message. You can just manually send one yourself, or if you're a client of ours, we'll give you our AI review tool that will automatically send those text messages asking how the service was. The ones that are happy, it'll send them over to Google to leave a 5-star review.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've covered a lot today. I know it's a lot to take in. I hope you guys got some value out of this. We want to thank you for attending. Again, I want to encourage you. Again, we've covered a lot, but if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about, your online presence and how we can improve that, or if you're interested in potentially running some ads there, I think we give our clients the best opportunity to be successful with that. But I ask all of you, if you're interested, use the QR code or the website listed here, waterrestorationmarketing.net/schedule. You can put some time on the calendar over the next couple days or after the holidays for you and I to sit down and talk a little bit about how we can help drive a more emergency water jobs to your business. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Kevin, for taking time out of your day to do this with me. Hope everybody got some value.
And we will see you here next month.
Yeah. Thank you again, guys. Thank you for listening to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe, share, and also leave us a 5-star review. We'll be back with more interviews and discussions with restoration industry leaders really soon. In the meantime, if you're a restoration company looking to add more high-value water jobs, you can reach me and my team at waterrestorationmarketing.net. Again, that's waterrestorationmarketing.net. I look forward to hearing from you soon.